Hello, I'm Walter Coley, and I sang in the choir with Abe Shelton Jr. at the First Presbyterian Church. He came to our church about 15 years ago, and I was the only tenor. And so he came and we sat side by side. We practiced side by side, and he came every time we had an activity, Abe was there. And I'll never forget when he first came. I'm not quite the singer that Abe is, and I would be singing a note, and Abe never did say, "Now, you've hit the wrong note." He'd just lean over like that to me, and I'd see him coming over, and then I'd change the note. If I got it right, he would lean back, never said another word. We just kept right on going with what we were doing. Of course, sometimes at church we'd had some difficult pieces. And he would gently suggest, he would say, "What are you doing before choir practice tonight?" And I said, "Oh, nothing." He said, "Why don't you come by my house and we'll go in the basement, and I've got a piano down there, and we'll practice this." He said, I need to practice up on it. Of course, he didn't need to do anything. He was doing this for my benefit. So we would have a great time together. He told me many stories. I'll never forget one time we were talking, and he said, I said something about Fanny Bell Boy. He said, "You know Fanny Bell?" And I said, yes, I know Fanny Bell. And he said, "When I was a young boy," he said, "my mother would send me to the grocery store," and he said, "I had to go right by Fanny Bell's house," and he said, "She would come out and whip my behind every time I went by there. And my mother and daddy told me I couldn't hit a girl. So he said, he said, every time mother wanted me to go get something at the grocery store, I would be upset. And he said, I got my behind beat and said, finally, I just decided that I was going to teach her a lesson. And he did. And Abe got his way, said she never bothered me again after that. So Abe and I had so many good times together. And I'd call him up on the phone before to, tell him what time I was coming to pick him up, and I'd get him laughing about something, and he would be laughing, and either his wife or his sister or somebody said, "Who are you talking to?" He said, "Oh, it's that crazy white boy." He said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "We got everything settled." And again, we had a great time together. Abe was, one of my best friends. And there toward the end, he got a little forgetful, and he couldn't drive, so I would come pick him up, and I'd call him, maybe 30 minutes before I was supposed to pick him up, and tell him I was coming, and he'd say, "Okay, fine," and I'd hang up, and then 5 minutes later he'd call me back and said, "Now you gonna come pick me up today?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Abe, I just called you 5 minutes ago," and he said, "It's bad getting old. It's bad getting old." He'd just laugh about it. He didn't get mad. He never crossed a word. Everything, I don't guess I could make him mad. Now, I tried several times. I blamed things on him in the choir, and it got to where if somebody did something wrong, I'd just say, "Well, Abe did it." And, didn't make a bit of difference with him. He just smiled, and he would look at him. He said, "Now, you know how crazy he is." And they said, "Yes, we know. But the best thing about Abe was our relationship that we had together. We enjoyed each other. We had a great time. And everybody in the choir loved him. And that's the best thing that I know. I know when I get to heaven, I believe old Abe is going to be there, waving his hand. Come over and sing with him. I loved him. And he loved me.
Hello.
You're up.
Hello. My name is Kiana Haygood. I'm the third grandchild of Abraham Shelton Jr. And here's my tribute. So many things I could say about my granddad. He was everything, true definition of a stand-up guy. Really the greatest grandpa a kid can ask for. Whatever we want, we got it, Grandpa was a big influence on all of our lives. He always told us that education was the key to success. So many memories, so many memories from summers, swimming lessons, teaching us the game of tennis, me English, because I would I always talk crazy. Grandpa, I ain't got no more. I can't go before a negative predicate, verb, adverb. He would always get me on that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna miss my grandpa. He always had an individual bond with each one of his grandkids, and we related through music. So he'd be like, Kiana, what's the name of that group who made that song? And I'd be like, what song, Grandpa? And he'll hum it. Doop, 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 doop. And I'd be like, oh, Grandpa, that's Jagged Hill. I was Jagged Edge. They made that song, Want to Get Married. And he'll say, well, get you on. Come on, let's play it. We're going to learn it. You know, um, yeah, it's so much I can say about Grandpa, but I'm just going to say, Grandpa, I love you. And you're definitely going to be missed. You lived a good, long life, buddy. You did it your way. And you will forever, ever, ever be with me. See you when I get there. I love you, Grandpa.
I met Abe in 1971 at Beasley Park Tennis Courts in Queens, New York. We became fast friends for life. He was the best man in my wedding to Shelley, and my son Larry learned to walk at age 10 months at Abe and Shirley's house in Alabama, while Abe and I went to play a tennis tournament. Abe, Tom Montero, known as Butch to friends, Eddie Bell, and John Figueroa formed an everlasting brotherhood that's lasted for 60 years and still counting. We were all interested in sports, and I taught Abe to play tennis at Beasley Park. He became a lifetime member of American Tennis Association. Butch, Abe, and I played many ATA tournaments throughout the years. However, Butch and Abe became a winning doubles team and were finalists in many ATA tournaments and finally won the national championship in 2000 for the men's 60s doubles, a great accomplishment. Abe was an excellent skier, taught me to ski. Abe, Butch, and I traveled all over the US and Canada for many years, skiing the biggest and most renowned mountains. Abe and Butch also skied France, the French Alps, and the Italian Alps. Abe also taught his son Sean to ski at age 5 years of age. Sean became actually a better skier than his father. And I always called him Pretty Sean on the slopes. A funny story. Abe, being the effervescent personality that he was also known as Spider-Man on the slopes because he always wore a Spider-Man costume for the National Brotherhood of Black Skiers Convention. On one occasion, a skier fell and Abe skied up to him and asked if he was all right. The fallen skier looked up and said, he saw Abe in a Spider-Man outfit and said, oh my God, I'm being rescued by a superhero. And to top it off, the fellow skier's name was Shelton also. From then on, he always referred to Abe as Uncle. Abe was an accomplished educator, musician, athlete, husband, father, grandfather, brother, and a model for us all. Abe and I had a pact that the survivor of the two of us would sing my buddy at their homecoming. Here goes, Abe. Nights so long since you went away. I think about you all through the day, my buddy. My buddy. Nobody quite as true. Miss your voice the touch of your hand, just as long as you understand, my buddy, my buddy. Your body misses you. Nights are long since you went away. I think about you all through the day, my buddy, my buddy. Your body misses you. I salute you, Abe.
All right, I'm Eddie Bell, and currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm basically from New York City, Queens, St. Albans. And well, I want to begin by just saying I'm sorry I can't be with the family during this time. And but I'm glad to have the opportunity to share a little bit here via this magic of Zoom. I just want to start by saying that, you know, in this world, you don't meet a lot of people that you can truly call friends. And with Abe Shelton Jr., he fits that bill. He is a person that is a true fan, not just in name, but also in actions. And I love Abe to death, and he's been my friend and running buddy for a long time. We met first all at Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. He was pledging Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and I was pledging Omega Psi Phi fraternity. And we were on different lines, but I used to see him. And one thing I remember about him is that, you know, he was on the Tennessee State Marching Band. He was a member of that. But during the pledge line, you know, the pledge lines used to do things in public. And I used to remember seeing him walk on his pledge line and playing his clarinet. And that's how I really got to first see Abe. We became somewhat friends in that period of time, though, but our true friendship started a lot later. After he had moved to New York City and I graduated from Tennessee State and moved back home to Queens. One day I was working in the park, Ajax Park, which was in near the St. Albans area, and lo and behold, who drives up but Abe Shelton Jr. He found me. I'm in New York City with 9 million people, and he didn't have any idea where I was or anything. But he got in the New York City phone book and looked up and finally reached my father. Captain Carl Bell called and he said, "Yeah, well, yeah, Eddie Bell is my son." And he works at the park, Ajax Park, which is near where Abe and Shirley live. And he showed up and came there. And from that moment on, we were instant friends. I don't know, certain things are supposed to be. And we became instant friends. And so that friendship really started in 1959 and continued up until Abe left us. Abe was not just a friend in name, but actually a friend in deed. He always made sure that everywhere I was, he came to visit. He, when I lived in New Paltz in those early years. I was teaching at the State University, and Abe would come up to New Paltz and hang out with me. And then I bought a house in Colorado, and Abe came out to Colorado and hung out with me. And then I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and Abe and Shirley came out to Charlotte to see me. So we've just always done all those things together. We've skied together. One of the things I like to say, Abe is one of the people, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit, but Abe was one of the few people in the world that called me Ding Dong. That's the name that I picked up at Tennessee State. And whenever I'd call him, up until just recently, I'd call him up and he'd say, "Ding Dong, what's happening?" And I'd say, "Abraham, how you doing?" And I called him Abraham because we used to ski in Canada, and the French Canadians, that's where they pronounce his name, Abraham. But I introduced Abe to skiing. We skied at a place called Ski Mini in New Paltz, and from there we went to start skiing at the bigger mountains in New York, and then Massachusetts, and then finally in Vermont. So we skied all those places. But prior to all that, another important things in both of our lives is I introduced Abe to Dr. Thomas Butch Montero, and they became very good friends and skiing partners and tennis partners, won championships together. So the three of us kind of like the Three Musketeers, and we did lots and lots of things together. But the most important thing about Abe to me, but of course, is his friendship, but is that he's just a role model. He was an educator and a role model for young kids, and he's really a role model for adults because he just lived such a good life. He was a family man. He was just, he would do anything for anybody. He would open his house to people, and I used to love to go to his house, especially in Alabama, and all the people would be there, and I know the family, and it's just the whole relationships have been very, very warm. And Abe is just a wonderful human, was just a wonderful human being, just somebody that I'm going to miss terribly. I once wrote a poem about Abe recently. It's in my most recent book, and I said one of the most difficult things among friends is Abe is a person I used to call when I didn't have, just to call to talk. You're sitting at home and say, "Oh, I'm gonna give Abe a call." Well, in the poem I said, the thing I'm gonna miss the most is when you have a friend that you can call when you don't have anything to say. And that's going to be, it's a very sad thing for me. I haven't even internalized that yet. I know it's going to happen eventually, but not to be able to pick up the phone and talk to Abe and just shoot the stuff with him and have a good time. But I won't go on and on. A lot of people are going to say a lot of good things about Abe, and he deserves all of that. But he has a good family, and I love being around his family. I love being around Shirley, and it's just a close relationship. And I just think Abe is going to be missed by so many people because so many people love him, and he deserves that love. And I'm just so glad I can say without any hesitation, he is one of the best human beings that I ever met. Again, thank you for this opportunity to share this small reflection with Abe and the family. And I pray and thank and pray that God is with the family during this tough time, and that in the future we will still. I plan to still be in touch with the family, and I still plan to come to Alabama, and then we can share some good talk and some good times about all of us that we shared together. My wife also sends her condolences and her love and her prayers. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Many years ago, when I was a junior in high school, my family moved to Alexander City, and that's where I first met Abe Shelton. Abe was a smart, all-around person who was in the band playing clarinet and saxophone. He was a very nice man who I grew close to over the years. After graduation, I enrolled at Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. And Abe entered the Marine Corps, and we became conversant by mail during that period of time. After I graduated from college, after I graduated from high school, Abe came home and decided he wanted to go to Tennessee State with me and enroll there. He became a member of the Tennessee State Marching Band, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and he was an extremely popular person. He later transferred to City College, New York City, after marrying his childhood sweetheart. Abe was a very physical person, loving person, and a very intelligent person. He and I kept in close touch throughout the years. And finally, Abe moved back to Alexander City, and we continued a very strong relationship. I think Abe was a very sensitive, intelligent, and devoted musician, educator, and just an extremely good person. I was extremely sorry to find out that he was deceased, but I will always love him, respect him, and remember the fun times we had. Thank you.
My name is Ronan C. Powers III. How I knew Mr. Abraham Shelton was Mr. Shelton being high school friends with my father, of course. I grew up around, or under, I should say, Mr. Abraham. And he made an instant impact on me as a kid because of the places he had been and the travels he had made in his life and the people he had met. And I always admired that he was a man of the arts. And when I got older and I got serious with my craft as a poet, it was his constructive criticisms that made me a better writer. And it was always his constructive criticisms in life that made me a better man. And over the years, I first knew him as my dad's friend. And then I used to make jokes with him, say, "You're my friend now." And he was a really cool guy. And if you wanted some advice, you had to go to him because he wasn't going to sugarcoat anything. He was going to give it to you straight. And I always would respect that. And I like the fact that he was about family. And, you know, the times we would have, you know, we was a part of your family as just his friends. You should love the Christmas parties, the New Year's Eve engagement parties. Were wonderful. And my heart and sympathy goes out to you and your family. And I'm just praying for you guys. And I'm hoping you guys can continue to do well in life and weather these storms. And I just want to say that Mr. Abraham Shelton was one of the most influential people I ever meet in my life. And he made a definitely serious impact in my life, and I'm just blessed to have known him.
Hassel, better known as Becky, for my brother, my friend, my surrogate father. You've meant so much to me. You guided me through all the difficult times, made college easy, and thank you. Thank you so much for your love and all your support. I'll miss you forever. I love you.
Much big on making speeches, but I have to say something about my big brother. He was the rock of our whole family. He carried us all on his back. And one song he and I will always share together. It's by the group War. It's called Me and Baby Brother. And I miss you, big brother. Rest in peace. And I love you all. That's it. Thank you.
All right, go for it.
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm 13. I live in New York, and I'm Uncle Abe's great niece. Dear Uncle Abe, I'm glad you're not in pain anymore, but I'm gonna miss you every day. You saved me when I was younger. You've taught me so many things. And every time I went to Alabama, I was always so excited to see you. I love you so much, and I aspire to have a long and exciting life just like you did. I always thought of you as my own personal Superman, so it's hard to believe you're actually gone. There are things I wish I told you and did with you, but it's okay because I still got to spend time with you and have the pleasure of being in your family. I wanted you to say Kayla May one last time, or you to give me one last hug, but we waited too long to see you. I loved your personality and your ability to make anyone happy. You inspired me to be who I am today. I miss your stories about your remarkable life and dancing the biker shuffle with you. You'll never be forgotten. I miss you already. Love, Kayla May.
Do I speak now? Oh boy. Hi, I'm Tammy Hasselblad. I'm Uncle Abe's niece and also his goddaughter. There's too many fond memories to list. A part of who I am today is because of Uncle Abe. He truly was like my second dad. I just can't imagine him not being here. Always with his great smile, always with a story to tell. And I'm gonna miss him deeply. He really did help shape to make all of us who we are. He truly was our family's patriarch. I love you, Uncle Abe, and I can't wait to see you again.
Okay. You good, D-Wayne?
Trying.
Now, I'll record it. You just go ahead and talk. I'll record it on my end.
Okay. Okay. I guess just thinking about Uncle Abe being like a second father figure to me after my father passed when I was younger. Just always being there for me to give me advice and to kind of support me. Took me to buy my first car. He took me my first NBA game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Knicks versus the 76ers. Came to my graduation. Told me how proud of me he was. Yeah, I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah.
Miss him.
Yeah, we all are. What about you, DJ?
Well, Uncle A was an inspiration to me, how he was in the army and he was also a principal, and how tough he was and how much he did for his country.
He's tougher than me?
Yes.
All right, that's coming to you live from D-Wayne and DJ, all the way from where y'all live?
Valley Stream, New York.
Valley Stream, NY, New York. All right. All right, love you guys.
All right, love you.
Love you.
All right. Talk to you later. See Aunt Shirley and Aunt Nick.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? Hello.
Yeah.
All right, love y'all.
All right, talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Sandy Reekston. This is my mom. Abraham Shelton was my godfather.
My name is Maria Rixton, and Abe and I met at Queens College. My friend Abe was a wonderful man. He was kind, caring, compassionate, very smart, a talented musician and singer.
And hell of a dancer.
He also was a devoted educator and school administrator, in addition to being an avid tennis player and skier. We met at Queens College when he told us, the Black students, we were so few of us, he led us to put 2 tables together, and that's where we all supported each other at lunchtime in the cafeteria. Abe was a leader to all of us there because he was somewhat older. But anyway, Abe took me under his wing and brought me home to meet his wife, Shirley, and his family. And they never let go of me, and I never let go of them. I miss my friend Abe. He taught me how to drive a stick shift. I can't even enumerate everything, but after 57 years, my friend has gone home to be with the ancestors. I miss you, Abe, and I will always miss that smile and that kindness. Love you until we meet again.
And I want to say I'm so thankful for him and Aunt Shirley. They were always so supportive of me and always loved me. And I used to love coming to the house in Queens and staying with you guys. And Uncle Abe sang at my wedding, and I'm grateful for that. And he always used to love to tell people how Sheila was the flower girl at my parents' wedding and how Sam and Bree were the flower girls at my wedding. And I don't think I realized how special that was until just now. And I'm gonna miss my Uncle Abe. He was the best. And we love him and we miss him and we love you guys. And we're so sorry we can't be there with you, but we're there with you in spirit. You know that.
And the Queens College people all send their condolences. Everybody, people had trouble accepting it. So I promised them that we'll get together and tell Abe stories when all of this corona business, COVID business, and all of this is over. We love you guys. And thank you for always being there with us and for us.
Oh, that was nice. Yes. Love you guys.
Hello, I'm Bruce McClendon, pastor at First Presbyterian Church. It's been my privilege to know Abe for 7 years. And to Shirley and your family, I give humble sympathy and love. May the memory of Abe Shelton be a blessing to you and all of yours. And may God's word in the 23rd Psalm give you peace. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now, when I grew up, we had heroes. A hero, for instance, in my family was a man who joined the Marines to defend a country that was not quite up to living to its own declaration that all men are created equal. A hero was an educator, changing the world, one child at a time. In my family, a hero was a man who struggled to gain civil rights with Dr. King. I'm sitting next to an empty chair, and for over a decade, Abe Shelton sang here. What a blessing we were given. For God used Abe as a means of grace to us, like a living sacrament, and we shall not forget that blessing. The blessing of his voice. Oh, how he will delight the angels.
Make sure I'm not sweating.
All right, go for it.
My close up. Hi, I'm Karen Cole. I'm from New Rochelle, New York. And I met Abe, oh my gosh, had to be over 30 years ago. I think I met him on a ski trip. And we've been skiing ever since. And he's a good friend of my cousin Butch. And then through him, I met his wonderful family. I met Shirley, and Sean. He was out there skiing. And Abe taught him well. I tell you, they were some skiers. But Abe was a really nice guy. He loved everybody. Everybody loved Abe. Everybody's happy to see Abe. He was really a cool guy. Somebody everybody loves and admires. And when you talk to him, you know he started from humble beginnings and he pulled himself up all the way up to become a principal of a New York City school. And he was a great tennis player. He loved to sing. He sang in the choir. I think he was just singing a quartet. And then he skis. He loved to travel. He loved his kids. He was a great dad, great husband. He was so proud of all of his children, his grandchildren. He would love to tell you what they were doing and all about their accomplishments. And he was a great guy to talk to. He was very encouraging, very positive. And he loved life. He loved life. He was always doing something. He was always going somewhere, or he was coming from somewhere. And it was always inspiring. So through Abe, I got to come to Alabama. Never been to Alabama in my life. So I got to come to his 40th wedding anniversary with him and his better half many, many years ago. And that was fun. I got to come down and go to his 80th birthday party a couple years ago, which was wonderful. I got to go to Virginia Beach, family functions, and we got to hang out on Martha's Vineyard. And I tell you, we had the best time on Martha's Vineyard. And Shirley and everybody was doing all that cooking, and I had some friends, and to this day they still talk about that time in Martha's Vineyard with the Sheltons. So Abe is, the entire Shelton family is just one of the best families I ever met. And I think Abe had a lot to do with just having a wonderful family, raising wonderful kids and grandkids. And I can't say enough good things about Abe. But the one thing I really, really loved to do was when we were skiing and everybody was speeding and everybody was doing crazy, challenging things, and I was afraid, I always sought out Abe to follow because he was really smooth and he took his time, and then he made me look good. So by the time I got down the bottom of the hill, Abe looked good and I looked good too. And the important thing is that we got down safe. So it was always fun. We always had such a great time. And this couple of years ago in the vineyard with Shirley and her friends and Abe, that was so memorable. I really enjoyed that. So love Abe, we'll miss Abe, and you guys be strong. He left a great legacy and a great family.
Okay.
Okay. Did I go over?
My name is David Mitchell. We grew up, my family, the Mitchells. We were neighbors of the Sheldons. We lived across the street. Fine father, fine mother, fine family. I don't know really where to start. I'm gonna just say Mr. Shelton was, very influential in helping me kind of, lead my life and walk the road that I've walked. Always influential dialogue. He was something. He was, he wasn't, in a way, you would get the impression he wasn't approachable, but when you did approach him and interact, he was so easy to get along with and understand. And just really well loved and respected. Everybody in the neighborhood knew Mr. Sheldon. I think music teacher at PS 45, and he did a stint at PS 96, if I'm correct. But he had a really big influence on a lot of people in South Jamaica and probably beyond. People still talk about Mr. Sheldon when they come in my place of business. When I bring up, did you know Mr. Sheldon? Oh yeah, he was our music teacher and this and that. So, he was very influential, very, and he will truly be missed. I'm gonna miss that athletic look, and everything about him, Wish all of you the best. God bless you.
Information up on the group chat, and he affected a lot of people, people that didn't have father figures. I had a father figure, but he was just the addition to it, he was a good man. He taught us all these songs in elementary school. Everybody keeps talking about the Mr. Moon song.
I don't think I know that one.
Oh, I ain't gonna sing it for you. I don't want to burn your ears, but a lot of people from PS 45 know that song, and they said that they were thinking about him because he they said they're gonna start singing the Black National Anthem at all the games now since all the Black Lives Matter came out.
Yeah, that's something.
Just little things. Just that, he meant a lot to me. He gave me my first solo on my clarinet.
Oh, really? Oh, you was a clarinet player? Woodwind, huh?
Yeah. I had my solo and everything. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about Abraham?
No, just that he's a good guy.
Computer. All right. Anytime you're ready, brother.
Okay. Well, greetings, everyone. It is always an interesting position to have to say something about somebody who has passed on, who is well loved. Mr. Sheldon was one of those individuals that I came in to know because of his son, Sean. And, sometimes you meet people and you forget about them, and sometimes you meet people and you remember them. Mr. Shelton was one of those individuals that I remember because he just was so real. He was real with me. And the few times that I can say that I actually got to speak to him and see him, I enjoyed every minute of it. So it goes without saying that he will be missed. It goes without saying that he was loved. He was loved by his family, but he was also loved by those individuals that came into contact with him. I certainly appreciated the time that I got to spend with him. So although it is very, very sad for me to have to speak on his passing, because I am one of those individuals that believe that there is something stronger, much stronger, beyond this existence on earth, I know that he's going to be okay. My aunt Christine lived to be 103 years old, and she would to tell the family that you don't come to this earth to stay. You're going to come and you're going to go. You do the best you can while you're here, and God willing, when you do go, you go on to a better place. I'm almost certain that Mr. Abe has gone on to a better place. He is certainly going to be missed by me and his family, and I am honored to have been given this opportunity to say a few words about him. Thank you.
State your name and where you're from, brother.
Steve Reese, originally from Harlem, New York, currently in McDonough, Georgia.
Okay. We appreciate those inspirational words there, brother.
No problem.
Listen, we'll talk, and I'll send you that information.
Okay.
All right. Take
All
care.
right, y'all take care.
Like I wanted to live. So if I died, I've lived the way I wanted to live. I did the things I wanted to do. Coming out of Alabama, a little black kid growing up in a segregated system, didn't have to depend on white folks, didn't have to work for white folks, because that's what my mother taught me.